Greetings, everyone, and welcome. It is April the 10th, coming to you now with breaking news in regard to the ambassador to Ukraine from the United States, Bridget Brink. Bridget Brink is stepping down. I've actually been hearing this in Ukrainian news for about 48 hours, to be quite honest with you, the hum about it, the talk about it. But this morning, U.S. time, a couple of news agencies, one being Reuters, came out saying U.S. ambassador to Ukraine considering leaving the position. It was according to sources, of course. U.S. ambassador Bridget Brink may leave the diplomatic corps of her own accord in the coming weeks. Our sources in the Ukrainian authorities are also currently confirming this information. Well, then we come over to just about an hour ago. I'll take it to here, and this is from AP. U.S. ambassador to Ukraine to step down as peace talks uncertain. The article's pretty interesting. Coming out at 2:15 Eastern, there's a lot there. The U.S. ambassador to Ukraine is stepping down from her post after nearly 3 years in Kyiv amid uncertainty over the Trump's administration to attempts to broker a peace deal to end the Russia-Ukraine war. The State Department said Thursday that Bridget Brink will be leaving her post in the near future, although not clear exactly when, and she assumed the post under Joe Biden and has been a staunch advocate for U.S. military assistance to Ukraine. Now, this is very true, and unfortunately, some things happened over the past week that I think spun out of control for her. I was talking to my friends that support Ukraine. This says, Greg, she was been there for 3 years under the Biden administration. She was appointed, and now with the Trump administration coming in, for sure, she is under immense pressure to try and toe the company line. And this is why I think we can be pretty confident that we had some of the debacle we had last week, and I'll refresh your memory on that in just a minute. Her resignation has been expected for some time, especially considering the Trump's administration's premium on rapprochement with Russia and ending the war. Ambassador Brink is stepping down. The State Department said she's been the ambassador in Kyiv for 3 years, and that's a long time in a war zone. I would completely agree with that. Very difficult in the war zone, and I know probably her extended family back home in the United States. Happy to hear this. And of course, commentary goes on from the State Department. Frankly, the war has gone on for too long. With that, even I would agree, as you would also. It could have ended a long time ago, I believe, if the United States would have supported full bore from the get-go and NATO. But I guess that is now a pipe dream. We see where we're at. The real issue is whether the Russians and Ukrainians are ready to do what's necessary to end the war. So that's what we have. But I remind you that it was just within the last week, the strikes on Kryvyi Rih, the strikes in Dnipro is what really got this ball going. And I know she was in a very difficult position, so I'm not no way going to throw Ambassador Brink under the bus, because she has been a staunch supporter of getting aid to Ukraine. But when it unfolded, and this was the strike on Kryvyi Rih, where she wrote, horrified that tonight a ballistic missile struck near a playground and restaurant in Kryvyi Rih, more than 50 injured and 16 killed. And of course, that number went up, including 6 children, which ended up being 9 children. And then Zelensky came out very strong. Unfortunately, the reaction of the American embassy is unpleasantly surprising. Such a strong country, such a strong people, such a weak reaction. They are even afraid to say the word Russian when talking about a missile that killed children. Direct quote from President Zelensky. Additionally, a couple of days later, Russia struck Dnipro. Russia was striking Kyiv, and she changed her message. As of 6:30 a.m., Kyiv and the rest of Ukraine remain under a ballistic and cruise missile attack from Russia. She called it out. Response adjusted. Loud explosions in the capital and reports of attacks in multiple cities. Isn't it interesting that she was not referring to Russia? Zelensky called it out, now referring to Russia, and now just a couple of days later, we see that she will be stepping down. I personally think all of this is playing together. I remind you of the Sparks argument. She's just a complete traitor to Ukraine. Congresswoman Victoria Sparks from Indiana. I think it's all playing together. And I remind you, I would not be surprised that Zelensky is paying the Telegraph to fabricate false headlines to continue making money on the blood of the Ukrainian people. I am proud of my Ukrainian heritage of the real warriors, not cowards, in the Zelensky mafia wiping out patriots. You see, you guys, listen, we were not born yesterday. We were not born yesterday. There is a narrative floating around Washington, D.C., and it is led by Donald Trump, the president of the United States, but those that have his ears, those people like Tucker Carlson, Alex Jones, Elon Musk, Victoria Spartz, Vladimir Putin, Kirill Dmitriev, Witkoff, and the list goes on. The narrative is just coming together, and we see, and unfortunately on this one, we've lost overall, to be quite honest with you. Bridget Brink has been a big supporter of Ukraine, and 3 years in a war zone's tough, but for sure, there's a lot more to the story and the pressure that is on her. So thank her for her service, and going to be interesting, the ambassador's next view that will be appointed to Ukraine as this war continues to rage on, and we have no idea what Donald Trump is going to do next, but we know what Ukraine's going to do next. They're going to fight for truth, freedom, and justice. So thank Bridget Brink for her 3 years of service to Ukraine, and we'll see where we end up next. Thank you, guys. This has been a breaking news update. Thank you for sharing, liking, commenting, and we appreciate all of you.